Hi, I'm Sylvanos.
And I'm Shamon.
We're the TV twins, and we bring you the worst of the best.
And this week we'll be bringing you something a little bit different, the Superfriends cartoon, The Shamon U.
Yeah, that's really the title.
We're very sorry.
The adventure begins with the Scooby Gang, the Junior Superfriends, hiking up Mystery Mountain.
When they decide to have a picnic on a 45-degree slope, something strange happens.
Sure. Here you are, Wendy. Hey! Huh? Zonkers!
Zonkers indeed. They investigate while Wendy does her Popeye impression.
At the top of the mountain they find
a giant metallic U.
I know what it is. It's a magnet.
It can't be. These metal cans don't stick to it. Neither does my Super Friends wristband made of steel.
First off, soda cans are aluminum. Aluminum's not magnetic.
Second, a wristband made of steel? What did they do, shackle Marvin in the basement?
Let's report this to the Super Friends. It's 30 feet high and really weird looking.
What does it look like?
Well, it looks like a U.
It looks like Batman.
Bazing!
Batman and Robin return to the mountain with the kids.
Endangering teenagers is kind of Batman's thing.
After dropping the kids off, Batman goes in for a closer look.
Something's pulling us. We're in trouble, Robin.
We're in double trouble, Batman. Look up there.
Great blazes.
In the sky, a huge meteor, attracted by the mighty magnet, plummets toward the helpless aircraft.
The magnet's pulling in asteroids from space?
That's true. It should be pulling objects in for hundreds of miles.
We should be seeing a sky full of cars and appliances.
The meteorite lands and the magnet turns off, allowing Batman to land to safety.
Atop the mountain, the trapdoors open, and now a crane rises to retrieve the treasure from the sky. A meteorite of solid gold.
Gold, not magnetic.
Dear, 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 dear.
What do you make of it, Batman?
We saw the meteor land here. It's my guess it bounced off and rolled down the other side. The steep side. Kids, you wait here. Robin and I are going to climb down the steep side and look for it.
Batman, we brought a helicopter. Okay, whatever.
What's more, they're free climbing. Batman and Robin are famed for all the grapple gear they carry.
Meanwhile, on the mountain,
Of the space cloud, igniting it into a brilliant white-hot fireball. The intense heat fuses the particles of gold into another huge nugget. And after this mighty fusion, a mysterious mist slowly drifts downward into the atmosphere. There, it becomes strangely affected by the Earth's oxygen, creating exotic gases unknown to Earth scientists.
Good to see that the show is teaching children solid science.
Something else is coming up.
It's the U.
Hey, what?
Keep tugging, Wonder Dog.
Just take off the bracelet.
so they hitch a ride into the mountain where they meet
the brilliant scientist, Shaman, with his equally brilliant lab technician, Madame Lila Labone.
They loved alliteration in these old cartoons.
Yeah, you can't keep these young people here all night. They've got to get home.
I'm not sure they even have homes. No, seriously, where do these kids live?
They're out running with the Superfriends at all times of the day and night.
There's never any mention of either parents.
Are they orphans? Do they have a tragic backstory like Robin?
Are they also Batman's wards?
They don't even appear to go to school. Somebody should really call Children's Services. Anyway, back on the cliff, Batman and Robin continue their investigation.
Down there, cables.
Obviously, Robin, there's a cable car terminal beneath this ledge.
Why would anyone build a cable car station halfway up a cliff? Where could it lead?
How is it that no one noticed any of this being built?
Halfway up the steep mountain trail, a puff of mist floats down from the sky, and a tiny rabbit becomes its first victim.
Science!
Holy cottontail! It must be 8 feet tall. How'd it get so big?
How can they even see it? From that angle, all they should see is rock.
So they slide down the cable, straying themselves on a tower, but it seems that the rabbit isn't the only one with a pituitary problem.
Far off in the African jungle, a puff of green mist has made an elephant grow to twice his normal size. And now, a red mist descends on an unsuspecting giraffe. Because the red and green mists are not visible to the human eye, the Super Friends are completely baffled by the strange phenomenon.
So which is it? It's either red or green or invisible. It cannot be both.
There's also a bit with a giant albino lobster, so Aquaman has something to do.
You know, all these animals fly in the face of the square cube law.
Look it up!
Doctor, we're dealing with strange, unidentified matter. For all we know, our first 2 sky mining attempts may already be causing serious problems in our atmosphere.
Serious problems for others, perhaps, but not for me.
I think this is how global warming got started.
Doctor, you have no conscience. I can no longer work for a man such as you. Au revoir, Dr. Shaman. You may be sure, Dr. Shaman, that I shall report your activities to the proper authorities.
It's never a good idea to tell a bad guy that.
No harm will come to them. They'll be bored and impatient for a few hours, but safe. Then I'll let them continue across. By that time, I'll have more gold than Fort Knox.
We have a hard time figuring out even why Shaman wants this gold so badly.
Between the huge underground lab, the cable car, and the employees, he seems pretty well off already.
Yeah, I guess the motor must have conked out. We're only halfway across.
Boy, Marvin seems awfully pleased about that.
Maybe he planned to put some moves on Wendy.
They're rescued by Batman and Robin, who have apparently been hanging out on the cable this whole time.
While that's going on, Aquaman has a pair of whales tow the giant lobster away.
One wonders why he didn't just ask the lobster to move on its own, but whatever.
During this, he discovers a whale has been shrunk by the invisible red stuff. He brings the whale back to the Hall of Justice,
Where Dr. LeBone and Wonder Woman, who's apparently a scientist now, attack the problem with science!
Superman flies off on general damage control.
Which leaves Batman and Robin to deal with Shaman.
The dynamic duo coming up the mountain.
Whatever, sir. I'm just here for the health plan.
A magnet does not only attract, but by reversing the polarity, I can make my magnet repel.
And if the Batmobile were a magnet, that might mean something.
And look at this. He actually named it the Shamon U.
Smart move, writers.
Pass the blame for the awful pun on to the villain.
So now Batman has to find a way into Shaman's lab.
Of course, there's the cable car lines that they've been climbing all over like spider monkeys for the last half hour.
No, too obvious.
I'll try the bat line. No good. In this situation, our bat lines are useless.
You mean the exact situation they were designed for?
So Robin climbs a tree that has conveniently started growing.
These bat cups should do it.
Why didn't he do that in the first place?
Holy Jack and the Beanstalk. I'm really getting up in the world. Pretty soon, this tree will be as high as those cables. The cables. Say, thanks, tree. You're taking me just where I want to go.
Ugh! The tree is smarter than Batman!
Ah, I can feel the seam between the two steel plates. Let's see if I can break it open.
The world's greatest detective, everyone.
Fortunately, Robin is brighter and manages to get the doors open from inside.
Surprisingly nimble. Maybe Shaman's an Italian name.
Batman and Robin trade lame jokes for several seconds while the villains escape down a secret tunnel.
Which the teen twits and the now giant Wonder Dog seem to have found by accident.
Honey, I've never seen those trees before. Ah! It's the Yeti! The abominable mountain creature!
No, it's a giant dog which bears little resemblance to a Yeti.
So after being shown Wonder Dog as evidence of the consequences of sky mining, Dr. Shaman is easily convinced to stop.
Though not before a little poetic justice is meted out. That's the way of things in the early Super Friends shows. The villain's not really a villain, just a short-sighted jerk who stops once he's shown the error of his ways.
Do you really need superheroes to do that?
Wonder Woman's lab work isolates the shrinky, growy stuff.
Shamanite.
Whatever. Why did they store it in cookie jars?
Backward as Superman sets about getting rid of the space cloud.
Cloud, the Man of Steel hurtles through the night toward the lowlands of Holland. From an abandoned windmill, Superman borrows an entire set of vanes and streaks into the sky with them, up, into the stratosphere.
So, this is Dr. Shaman's gold mine in the sky. Just about in the center of it. Here goes. Watch my dust. That does it for the cloud with the golden lining.
Yeah, that works. Through some questionable geography, Wendy determines the Shamanite has only affected things on Earth's night side.
Right. Why don't we just sit tight until the sun rises? That'll clear up everything.
No, that makes too much sense.
We need a solution that's completely impractical and outlandish.
This is where we are. Robin's light is in the present position of the sun. The Earth is turning slowly in this direction. Therefore, our problem is how to reflect this beam of sunlight in such a way as to direct it to the dark side.
If Superman were to carry a huge reflector into space, just about here. Thank you. At this point in space, Superman could catch the sunlight and redirect it downward, toward Earth's dark side, like this.
That's more like it! Even if you could keep a coherent beam of light over that distance, it would take an impractically long time to cover the entire hemisphere.
Why, Shamanite.
Far below, in the African jungle, the tiny giraffe begins growing back to normal height.
But Robin's light clearly showed us there was already daytime in Africa.
Who cares? It's almost over.
The plan goes all fine. There's just one thing Batman forgot.
The whale.
Yes, it seems they forgot they still had Aquaman's whale in the building.
Clear the way. In a few seconds, there'll be no room out there.
So what the hell do they do with it now?
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition.
Oh, relax. Superman carries it away.
We know this show is meant for children, so we shouldn't judge it too harshly.
But the animation renaissance of the 90s showed you don't have to talk down to children to educate them.
The Shaman U represents the worst of children's entertainment.
The animation is cheap and shoddy. The characters are watered-down, neutered versions of their comic book counterparts, and even by those standards, it's preposterous.
Thanks for watching. We're the TV Twins, and we'll be back with more of the worst of the best.
Zonkers! Zoinks! Zonkers! Zoinks! Zonkers! Zoinks!